Hey guys, thanks for watching the last video if you did, and welcome to my level cap of 80 and 85. The 85 part is not going to be as long. There's not very much I really want to cover about it, so let's get to the 80 and we'll start talking about it. First of all, I want to say when I was starting out this expansion is with the Paladin again. Then I eventually rolled a warrior, but this time alliance, and I decided to actually take out my rogue from retirement and actually level that all the way to 80 and actually have 3 different characters to experience this expansion with. First of all, I want to start off also saying that all the zones, for the most part, I really liked, but the one that truly stood out for me the most was BT. The whole fact that you had pretty much, when you were playing Alliance, you had the Vikings in that area. That's what they pretty much look like to me, and maybe they are. I don't remember the whole storyline because I haven't played WoW in such a while that I kind of don't remember certain aspects. But to me, I remember them as like the pretty much Vikings in World of Warcraft. They were pretty awesome, and I also liked all the other quests that I got to do as Alliance and as Horde, and that's the main reason why from that point on I had one character from Alliance and one character from Horde, because then I could see both storylines and it just got more experience of the lore and everything else. But first of all, I was playing the Paladin. So I got the Paladin through all the zones. I liked how they added all these other factions, and what was it? Bastion? Something Sola? Oh man. I can't remember the name right on top of my head. It's the one that have the oracles and the other guys. The little furry fur balls or something. Like I said in my last video, I am horrible at remembering stuff. Like, if you were to tell me where to find them, I know where it is. But if I was supposed to remember names and stuff, no. I am horrible at that type of thing. Anyway, I liked it how you were friends with them for a bit, and then you started helping the other guys, and then eventually when you got to the quest where you had either, help one of them pick a side, and then afterwards gain their rep up because you were their friend. And if you wanted to get the other achievement that they added, you would have to basically just do the opposite and eventually become friends with the other guys. That probably took a long time. Probably somebody that's not grinding every day, maybe a couple of months to do, if somebody's not grinding every single day. And there was another thing that I liked about it, is that the whole Wintergrasp thing. PvP in this game, expansion I should say in general, seemed more balanced to me. Like, it seemed a lot more fun, unless I was on my warrior. When I was on my warrior and I was pretty much versing disc priests, then it was a bullshit time. Other than that, I had a really good time with this area. I got to pilot vehicles, destroy the towers. It was just fun. I enjoyed it, and when we eventually finished and we won, we got to actually do that version of a raid. And most people at that time period didn't care as long as they can just fill it up and get people that can tank, heal, and just get in there and get it complete as fast as possible. So one of those raids was actually quite easy to get into compared to, like some others. But I'm jumping the gun a little bit there. There's a lot more story quests that I really liked. I liked how there was always these story bits with Arthas in it that always got to show more of him as a person, and just pretty much knowing that you're there and whatever you do is not going to be good enough because you're just going to still be crushed by him at the end. I loved how that, that type of vibe that you got when you were doing all these quests, and every time you see Arthas, he would call you heroes or champions or whatever, and it made me feel like in this expansion that when I was going through the areas that I was like an important person towards this faction, and every single time I did another quest, it would actually make me feel like I'm getting closer and closer, and then I eventually could do these raids and start to eventually get to Arthas. That's the way I felt, because I had just lots of fun. This is one of those other expansions that I really actually enjoyed. Some people hate it, but for the most part, for me, I really liked it. There was one more thing that I found really interesting, and there's a certain quest, I think in Ice Crown, that you get to be as Illidan, if I remember. Or no, you get to be Arthas fighting Illidan. I remember now. That chain quest was the most interesting part of that area. To me, it was the most interesting thing. Like, all the other quests are kind of cool, don't get me wrong, but that one right there took the cake, because I knew those two had a fight and Illidan had to retreat, and they added that in World of Warcraft, and I really commend them for that. I really do. I was blown away by that. I like it. I also liked some of the daily quests. Some weren't that good. Some of them were actually not bad. And the one that was in the middle of what's that area called? That's just south of Dalaran. It's in that tower with the dragons. You have to fly in the air and destroy a couple of dragons, then go read something, and then head back. I can never remember the name of the quest, though. That's the problem. But I remember doing that. I actually didn't mind that one. That was actually a lot of fun, and I know I could do that in less than 2 minutes, pretty much. Just, I don't know what to really say, is that I really actually had a lot of fun doing this expansion. Some of the dungeons, though, some I did not like. Some eventually changed for the better. For an example, Stratham. I hated it. At the start, when you couldn't skip it, like, don't get me wrong, if it's a brand new person in it, they want to see the storyline, because this is pretty much the turning point in Warcraft 3 that Arthas eventually becomes to, becoming the Lich King, I should say. And that's what I mean. Like, from that point on, that's when it changed and how Arthas became where he is. But doing that dungeon with brand new players and doing it all the time for those daily tokens was so annoying. It was really, really, really annoying. Like, maybe, I think after the 10th time, I would just fucking leave my computer for like 2 minutes and just do something, come back, oh, okay, it's still talking, okay, and I just leave until I couldn't do it. Eventually when they added to skip it, I really, really appreciated it, because I think a lot of people will agree. Like, when you're doing it the first time, and if you do it with all these people that done it the first time, it's cool. But when you do it with constantly to do the random thing, it's annoying. Especially when they added the dungeon finder, right? Always once in a blue moon you would get somebody that has that, and then you have to watch the whole stupid thing, which was annoying. Another one that a lot of people hated was Oculus. I know a lot of people that hated that, but you know what? To be fair, if you knew, like, the team, like, honestly, like, if the group knew what they needed to do at the very end, the boss wasn't hard. It really wasn't. If you actually had a good team, you could actually do it. But a lot of people, as soon as they saw the dungeon that they're in, nope, they zone out. Nope, they zone out. And I was one of those people that was dedicated. Let's do it. It's not that hard. Let's just get it done. And we get an extra reward when we actually complete this one. Because they eventually did add a reward system in Oculus if you actually finish it. Because a lot of people really started hating it. But I think I could be wrong. I think they added the extra stuff just for random stuff, just in case when you actually complete it. I think they just added that extra bonus thing if you just complete the dungeon. I could be wrong. Just let me know if I am down with the comments down below or not. I can't quite remember. But a lot of people hated that dungeon. Like, just hated it. And me, I didn't mind it. Actually, the ones that I really enjoyed the most was the newest ones that they added during Wrath was Forged Souls, Pits of Sauron, and what was the last one? Shit. I can't remember right now. Forged Lost Souls? No. I can't remember now. It's the one that Arthas, I think, chases you. That, when I did it the first time, I thought it was awesome. A lot of people were like, oh, I hate this part. But you know what? It's like I was saying at the beginning. The whole time when you're in Northrend, Arthas is always at some point in a quest, in a zone. For the majority of the time, he's in at least one quest in one zone. So it was nice that you actually get to face him inside a 5-man dungeon with Jaina or Salvantis, depending on which faction you were, and just running away from him because he is literally that powerful. And doing this dungeon made him feel that powerful. That's why it was awesome. To me, it was awesome. I don't know. Let me know if you guys thought it was awesome too or not. I would like to hear that. Another one that I actually liked was... Oh, man. There's a lot of them. Shit, I'm trying to remember some of them right now. Okay, if I remember correctly... Trials of the Champion. I know that was another one that a lot of people didn't really like either. Because of the fact that how the jousting thing was, or something similar to that type of factor, because some people are like that. To me, when I did it the first time, I actually liked it. I still like it, to be honest. I didn't... Maybe the beginning part, no. I really don't like it now, as like a level 90 character, or 100, depending if you're playing Warlords now or not. Some of my actual character that I made during MOP is not max level, but anyway, that's beside the point. And that time period, a lot of people hated it. Some people liked it. I was in the middle ground. I kind of liked it and I kind of hated it. But it all depending on the group you were with. There was another dungeon that a lot of people actually didn't mind doing, was Violent Hold, because it was quick. It was inside town already. So most people did that one. What was the other ones? I'm trying to remember on top of my head. What was it? The Nexus, I think it was. If I remember correctly, that was another one a lot of people actually liked. Some people hated it because if they had to leave soon. Well, if you queued for a dungeon, you might as well make sure you had time, right? That's the one thing I didn't get about people. If you're going to queue for a dungeon, just do the dungeon. If you don't have the time for it, don't queue up. That's that simple. It's just, I don't know why some people don't have common sense for that type of shit. But I'm just, I don't get people sometimes. But you know what? People don't get that the boss that they meet at the very end was actually the like same person that was helping you throughout the area. Some people knew that, some people don't. It was actually kind of interesting that people didn't know that. I can't even remember the area. It was the other area instead of like a BT. It was totally the opposite side. As Alliance, you're on a seaport. As Horde, you're in like a middle of the area where there's those stupid spider things. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the area. I do remember the initials of the other two dungeons that I didn't mind doing were like UK and UP. Both of those were actually a lot of fun. I remember doing them and I just enjoyed them. I really did. Some people say they hated it, but you know, that's people's opinion, right? Anyway, I want to get into the rating quick because there's a lot I want to cover about it because of the fact that in this one, I actually did more raiding than dungeons, surprisingly, because I got most of the time gear to actually do some of them a lot sooner. So, I'm going to start off with Naxxramas. I originally wanted to do Naxxramas when I got the game. Like, I remember hearing that it was the final raid, but after hearing about the Burnt Crusade coming out a couple of months later, I eventually stopped caring because eventually there's a new level cap. This is going to become an older raid and so forth and so forth, but I really wanted to try doing Naxxramas. At that time period, that was my goal. I wanted to get there, but I knew because I didn't start long time ago, I was never going to get there. So I eventually got there with, actually not with my paladin. I started doing it with my rogue. The rogue that I was mentioning in the 60 cap. Yeah, I actually was doing that with my oldest character. And it was a lot of fun. It had almost all the same mechanics as the original one from what I heard. There's certain things that changed, of course, right? But the most awesome part was about it, when I did it with my rogue, and I was in this other guild, I think it was called Dark Raiders. I don't think they're around anymore. But I went with them. We did it with 9 people. We actually managed to do it with 9 people. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun. Those guys were really good at doing these raids. Like, it would have been nice if we actually progressed farther. But I think after that is when the guild kind of just came to a screeching halt because we couldn't find people that wanted tank. And nobody, as an officer, had tanks. Honestly, nobody had tanks. One of them had basically a DPS / PvP Death Knight, but no tank. Like, really no tanks in the whole guild. And there was like at least 90 people. So that's another reason why that got halted. But it didn't stop me or my friends. Eventually, my friend got to actually kill the king before me. I know I'm jumping the gun. Normally I want to say a couple other raids before I did that, but he managed to kill the king before me. And I congratulated him because that's a really good feat at that time period. So it was awesome that he did it and he got Kingslayer. I got Kingslayer as well, but it came later on. But I'm going to go back because I'm jumping the gun, like I said. I had a lot of fun doing Naxxramas. I remember the first couple of times going through, I got lost. I didn't know where to go because of the whole thing, but I eventually figured it out, and that was like my first raid that I actually got to do and fully complete in Wrath. Eventually, I got to try to do Eye of Eternity. I think I completed that only once with my rogue. Only once. And I think it was because it was a pug group, but I don't know what it was, but the first try that these guys did, it was horrible. Almost everybody died at the third phase except me. Everybody died. I was the only one that was still alive, still moving, still doing stuff on the dragon. Because I was the one that was doing the daily quest around, the beginning zone. I don't know if anybody knows what the hell I'm talking about. There's a quest that you ride a dragon and you go around doing stuff. It had the same type of concept, and that's why I did very well at that part. Eventually I gave up because I had a feeling I wasn't gonna, complete it. But eventually when we did do it again, we managed to get at least 5 people to survive and kill him. Only did it once, never touched it again. I just wanted to get the achievement. That's it. Another one that they revamped later was Onyxia's Lair. This one I did a lot of times. I got a couple of pieces of gear that I still actually have in my bank because of this character. And also because of this raid in general. But the revamped version was pretty much just a rehash of the level 60 version. But I still had that positive feeling that, I got to do something that people got to do back in the original. And I get to experience it as like new content like they did. So that's the type of feeling that I got, and I liked it. Some people be like, well, it's just a rehash. It's not anything crazy about it. It's da-da-da. It's like I said. And the main reason why I do that is because I've read a lot of people's forums and them complaining on that type of thing, and I'm trying my best not to bug people or get mad at them, because everybody does have the right to their opinion, just like I am in this video. And I hope in the long run you guys feel where I'm coming from. Like, I really enjoyed this expansion and you had maybe the same type of experiences. That's why I made these videos, because I'm just trying to find people that had the same type of experience and, comment down below type of thing and let me know, because I would like to get to know people that really want to interact with me. I really am. Anyway, the next raid that I got to fully try was it Aldar? I know this is a little older, considering that it kinda came before Onyxia. Because if I remember, Onyxia gave 232 gear. This one gave 219, I think, or 226, around there or so. And I only did this up to a certain boss at this time period. I know I did the first boss, and I think I got to the frozen guy. I can't remember his name. Razorback was, I think, one of the bosses that we took down. There was another boss. It was a machine type where bombs go in the middle and all this other crazy shit that went on. That one we wiped a couple of times. I know that for a fact. But we did it. And what was it, the Sons of Oldar or Holar? I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but the one that has those frozen guys in there, and you basically have to stand on that little platform every time before the freezing. I'm trying to remember the mechanics, but I kind of remember it, but I have to see it again to make my memory like really jog. But I remember we got to that boss, and then that's it. I only did it once. So compared to Onyxia and Nexaramus that I did more than 5 times, that was just one time. And what I mean by more than 5 times, by pug groups, like I had to actually try to search for groups because at that time period, yeah, it was horrible. The next one that I want to talk about is Icecrown Citadel. And this one is kind of more complex to really answer because my friends were doing this and I wasn't at this time period, but I had gear enough to do it. And every time when I would join a guild and they would promise me, because I told them how good I was and I have the gear that's qualified to actually do this raid, I always got backseat. Always. And there was a couple of guilds that promised me that they would get me in there, but they wouldn't. And a couple of also promises, there was another guild that they were in that I was in as well. And the same thing happened to them, and they took it more personal than I did because I wasn't at the time. I didn't know this at the time, but apparently the guildmaster decided to bring somebody that was not even geared for a raid into a raid and try to tank the raid. Like, honestly, guys, why would you get an unexperienced tank wearing greens that just hit 80 to do the hardest fucking raid? It'd be stupid. And that's the main reason why my friends eventually left that guild. Because it's not going to happen. It's not. Like, Wrath became more lenient when it came to gear, but when you're wearing greens that are, like, old, and you can't manage or know the mechanics, you're not going to have a good night. But they joined other guilds, and I eventually was able to join a guild that have finally killed the king. It took us one night. We managed to do this in one night, and I was so surprised. And thanks to them, I got my Kingslayer. And I'm proud to have that title. I am. I know some people will be like, well, in real life, I got gold medals and stuff like this. But this is the video's topic about video games, so I thought I'd just say that, just in case if somebody would be like, well, you didn't win a gold medal. To me, it was just like an awesome feeling to get there. If there's anything else you guys really want to know about my experience in playing in Wrath, I'm pretty sure I can answer almost any questions that you guys say. There's a lot of stuff about PvP that I didn't mention because I don't want to make the video too long. Because I want to keep about 5-10 minutes or so. I'm looking at the video here. We're running about maybe 29 minutes now. So I really want to talk quickly about Cataclysm because I didn't want to make a separate video of Cataclysm because there's not really much to say. There's a couple of zones I liked. I did a couple of dungeons, but I didn't raid in Cataclysm. It was such... It was not a good expansion for me at all. I really didn't like it. I don't know. This is one of those, I'm going to agree with most people. This one wasn't that good. This one wasn't. And also, I tried playing a Shadow Priest, and it was interesting and it was fun. But playing a new class for just this expansion didn't kind of rejuvenate anything, because since they revamped the world, I wanted to make a new character to see what they changed, what they done, and that's basically what happened. This expansion was just like to see all the quests they done, see the new layout of the land. That's it. I didn't even raid. I think I maybe did one raid. I can't even remember what the hell it was. It's been that long. So I don't know what else to really say. Is that Cataclysm wasn't exactly the expansion that I was hoping for. Like, it had its moments where it was fun, and some of the zones had interesting new quests, and some of the things have been updated and been changed to fit the new lore. But overall, Cataclysm wasn't really the greatest expansion, I think. This is my personal opinion. It wasn't the greatest expansion. But trying a Shadow Priest the first time was a lot of fun. I'm going to admit to that. A Shadow Priest was a lot of fun to play at that time period. Anyway, guys, if you want to know more stuff in better detail, hit with the comments down below, and I'll try to answer you as soon as I can. Otherwise, stay tuned. I might do a video about MOP, because I've played that a lot as well, and I've actually done a lot of dungeons and raids in that. So stay tuned, and oh yeah, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Catch you all later. Thanks. Bye.